Trapmore gang, they're now saying that Eminem is in the Epstein files too. I don't even know how to process this. All of my hero rappers from my childhood, we just had Jay-Z, they're saying Pusha T. It's just a ridiculous. Now they're saying Eminem's in the Epstein files too, not Slim Shady, man. They're saying that he was getting slim and shady on that island, bro. I don't even want this to be true. And it might not be true, but it is. I don't want to say it's official. It's not official that Epstein was there on the island, but it is official that Epstein is, that Eminem is now being mentioned in the Epstein files. Okay, this is not a drill. This is not a joke. This is a real thing. And yeah, we're gonna have to just get into it, right? So they're saying, all right, Marshall Mathers, Slim Shady himself, has been mentioned in the Epstein files. So look, I'll read this to you. This is the paperwork, and then I'll read you what people are saying about it on Reddit. But this is crazy. This is on justice.gov. This is not a joke, right? Suspicious message. Epstein, Marshall Mathers, and Marilyn Manson. Okay, apparently this was forwarded in. This was an allegation that was made at the start of 2025 relating to historic crimes. It is very, very sad, okay? So this message has been going back and forth. This says, it's been a while since I've received a civilian report regarding Epstein and Maxwell, but the below appears to fall into the category that we forward you consistent with our case team's practice. Passing that along per practice. It's not saying this is true. It's not saying this is definitely confirmed. They're just saying I am forwarding an allegation that has been sent into the FBI. I believe this is the FBI. When it comes to looking into this human trafficking case, and it's crazy, right? It is actually crazy. So look, let's see what's going on. This is the full allegation in its entirety. It says, hello, I'm not sure who to contact. When I Google Ghislaine Maxwell prosecutor, you popped up. I'm not sure anyone would even still be interested in knowing, but I worked at a country club in Mogador, Ohio. I worked there from 2002 until 2007. It's called West's Mogador Country Club. It was a golf course, bar, and bowling alley. I cleaned and I cooked there. I don't know the exact dates, but I remember Epstein coming in along with Ghislaine and others. I believe they were first. Marshall Mathers wasn't there with Epstein, at least not that I saw. I wasn't normally allowed in the bar. I know they moved a bed into the banquet space, and my memories of seeing it there are hazy, like I was drugged or under hypnosis. The night Marshall Mathers being Eminem, okay, if you didn't know. The night Marshall came in, there was another guy. I don't know the man's name. He and my boss came into the kitchen. My boss, Eric West, took over cooking because the man wanted to talk to me. He tried to persuade me to let him introduce me to a man, but I kept refusing. Eventually they threatened me, and I was told to pour Marshall a drink and flirt with me. Or flirt with him, I guess. I realize now he kept insisting it should be me because I was the only girl under 18 in the establishment. After pouring Marshall the drink, I left the bar. I asked if I could go home now, but instead they held my face and forced me to take something. I know there was a woman who shaved my privates, but my only memory after that is of being in a different part of the country club, telling the man that Marshall didn't have S with me. I honestly don't know if he did. I believe the man later came back. I don't remember much of it other than I was naked in the bathroom on the wicker chaise lounge, with a black man behind me holding a knife to my throat. They told me I was going to end up in a dumpster, and most of my memories feel unreal. I'm hoping that by telling someone I can find a sense of realness and healing, and they started playing over and over in my head. All of the memories I have of Marilyn Manson feel like a dream or hypnosis, except the ones at my aunt's house. I'm not sure how my dad's cousins knew him. He visited at least twice when I was young. The first I was around 10 or 11 years old, and I had started developing breasts. I was self-conscious of them, and they were growing to be different sizes. I often covered them with my arms. My dad's allowed him to trace them onto a white shirt. The second time he visited, I was around 13, and there were a bunch of men with him this time. He told the room full of men something that upset my dad, and he pulled me out of the house and said I'd never see Brian again. We called him Brian, not Marilyn. After that, my memories all feel like I was either drugged around him or under some kind of hypnosis. I also have memories of being around P. Diddy, but I can't place how or why he would have been in my home. I was pregnant with my daughter in 2010, and she was born in March of 2011. I lived in a trailer located close to Akron, Ohio, and I remember someone who I think is Diddy taking a video with a phone. I've always been a bigger girl. My weight while I was pregnant was way closer to 300 pounds. If there was a video of me, it might stand out. I'm not the normal pretty type of person you'd see around celebrities, but since my teen, I've always weighed around 200 to 300 pounds. I have brown hair, my breasts are different sizes, and I also wear glasses. However, they're often taken from me. I hope that telling someone this, they will remember if they came across something. My dad passed away in 2020. I don't talk to his cousins, and when I tried to talk to my dad prior to his death, he would refuse to talk to me. I was R-worded one time in 2005. I was with my boyfriend at the time, and he allowed his drug dealer to R me. I've tried to contact local police about that, but my boyfriend passed away and there are no records. Thank you for reading this. I don't know if any of it would be any help to you or anyone else. Again, I'm not even sure who I should be talking to. I have no evidence of any of it, and I have no one to talk to me about it. My memories are still becoming increasingly overwhelming. They keep me awake at night, and I feel like I try to verbally tell anyone any of this, they will just think that I'm insane. I really hope that you don't just write me off as being a nutcase. I'd love to be able to just live a normal life where I don't have to fight the urge to hide and cry every day. Thank you again. Now, look, that story is pretty bizarre. It is definitely hard to believe. I do feel like that part of the end where she's talking about, doubting her reality and, wishing she could just move on from these memories. I think that kind of does actually hit home. Now, look, do I think Eminem was out here partying with Epstein? Just based on that letter, I'm not sure if I do, but I think we're beginning to hear a lot of crazy stuff that we would have never expected. Now, there's rumors and emails going down that appear to suggest that Elon Musk was emailing Epstein, asking to go to parties and things like that. And it's just getting more and more bizarre. So look, this was originally posted. I first saw it on the 50 Cent subreddit. And basically, a lot of people aren't believing this. Let's be real. A lot of people aren't believing this. It says they're clearly trying to pull all the names they can in there, hoping people will forget there's actual proof, pictures, and emails of Trump gates. Excuse me. And Elon Musk doing real crimes. It says, yeah, when I realized it was only rappers, no country stars, actors or actresses, no rock stars, just rappers. Well, there was Marilyn Manson, so. It says rappers who are also publicly Democrat and anti-Trump, Pusha T and Eminem were involved in the Harris campaign. Now, that's interesting. It says, well, now I'm hearing about Jamie Foxx and Robin Leach. Sounds like the administration is trying to throw left-leaning celebrities on the card to even the score. It's bait to get people to discredit all of the evidence. The angle is to say, F it, leave no stone unturned. Evidence is all that matters. It doesn't sound like there's any verifiable information. It will be thrown out in court and it essentially becomes a tabloid piece. It says, yep, and then you have Trump in the actual files over and over and over again, actually hanging around with Epstein in person all the time, and suddenly MAGA needs more evidence of Trump's involvement with Epstein. Now, there are a lot of crazy Trump allegations in there. But this comment says, this is someone who's not mentally well. Eminem in a public county club, ballroom, and kitchen while others are working there. Manson at her aunt's house with her adult cousins. P. Diddy in her trailer around 18 years later. Came forward in 2025 when all these people who were in the news around that time for either having allegations and in Eminem's case had dropped an album a couple months before. She says it could be hypnosis at different parts of her life spanning around 20 years. In a hotel kitchen she worked at during her teens, her aunt's house as a child, and a trailer she lived in as a pregnant 300-pound adult. Seems even the person forwarding the info to a rep didn't believe the smell test on it by their tone and referring to it as such cases we categorized, but forwarding for records regardless. People try and cope with awful events by trying to control the narrative of what happens sometimes, and this is sadly just the trauma of somebody hurt who needs help with their mental health. Okay, and I do think that's actually a very reasonable story. People are saying these stories with Eminem, Marilyn Manson, Pusha T, and Jay-Z just don't seem to add up. And it is true. It's suspiciously like people on the left side of politics, right? Notice Eminem, Jay-Z, and Pusha T were named by these weird anonymous stories, and all of them were recently against ICE. This is revenge from the administration. They're saying Eminem, the guy that never leaves his city, let alone his house. That's relatable, I'm not going to lie. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. So look, this has been popping off in a whole bunch of different subreddits, okay? This is the Eminem subreddit. Obviously, people aren't feeling this. People aren't believing this is true. They're saying... never mind, it's overall just describing fragmented memories and no supporting evidence. It's explicitly flagged as suspicious and an uncorroborated report. They're saying, yeah, it's a bunch of horseshit. It says they also forgot him on the island. He had to grab onto the jet wing with Ben Affleck and Seth Green. Wait, don't forget me. All right, shady as Bill taking the pill and putting it in your soft drink. So they're referencing this Eminem lyric from way back. Oh my God, this is crazy. It says he's not been named in any documents released so far, and he won't either. Eminem's crew is some of the few in the industry I can guarantee won't show up in these or the digital files. He doesn't F with people like that, and he sure as shit doesn't do that crap either. Well, there was the rumor about the underage Swedish girl, but that's all I've heard along these lines. There's a clip of him in the early days throwing girls off stage for being underage, so it's hard to believe, right? It says there was an old interview with Eminem in Europe somewhere, probably Germany in 1999 in a hotel bar. I think it was in a dark room, dark woods, and he was just high and joking around. But one of the jokes was about doing stuff like this. He used to joke around and would say anything back then. But that's the video. Man, do we want to see him joking about this? Okay, I just pulled it up and there is some pretty creepy stuff in here. Now they're saying he's high as hell, all right? But he does say some creepy stuff in this. All right, look, this isn't me trying to tarnish Eminem's legacy, but I'm just following the footprints of these comments on Reddit, and this is a little bit bizarre. Listen to this.
What is the moment that you are most happy? When I see Britney Spears naked. That's probably the most happy moment.
What is it you like about Britney Spears?
She's underage.
You just met her and became fascinated by her.
Yeah, I just met her like last week. You know, now I think she's a cute girl. I need to quit cracking jokes about her, otherwise she'll never date me.
Would you like that, to date her?
Huh?
Would you like that?
To rape her?
No, to date her.
Oh. Yeah, I would actually like to date Jennifer Lopez. You know.
Okay. Look, Eminem has got a very dark sense of humor, and we'll leave it at that. So look, it's doing the rounds in all the different subreddits. It's on r/hiphopheads. People are basically saying, I feel dumber for having even read that. It sounds like insane rambling. And it doesn't even accuse Eminem of having done anything, okay? They're saying, who is this person's family that Marilyn Manson and Diddy were coming to visit them in Ohio? I hear it. All right. It says are they diluting accusations to take away from the real accusations? Bingo. They're saying that's what happens. All right. Also dilutes the real accusations. We're waiting for certain names, but when we read a bunch of bullshit first, it makes it more likely the stories with the names we're interested in are also bullshit. They're saying it's distraction. They're flooding the news, confusing the situation. So all of it, so the masses don't stand up for the kids that are victims. They're flooding the zone, homies. You'll see much more of it. It's to keep you from the real Elon one where he begged to go the island, and the weird Trumped ones, okay? The thing about Epstein is that he moved in the same spaces as a lot of people, but most of them would have been fairly limited. Someone's name popping up means nothing on its own. It's the tangible evidence of a direct connection, like the new stuff of Elon begging to go to the island, though, and there's stuff tying them together for years that makes someone culpable, okay? There's going to be a lot of fake ones amid the real ones, okay? So it's going around everywhere. It's in the Fantano sub. It says, I honestly think the FBI might have dumped a bunch of random anonymous tips they received. The crazier ones they received, mind you, as an attempt to discredit legitimate claims. That's what people are saying, okay? That's what people are saying. It says, you need to read the email. It says he was at an Ohio country club. They had an underage girl try and flirt with him, but he didn't do anything, right? And then the tipster thinks they were hypnotized. It's not credible, but 98% of people will see the headline and say, oh, Eminem was with Epstein. That's all they need to see, all right? They're saying, don't take any of the anonymous tips seriously, all right? Even the Kanye subreddit, they're saying it's an unreal lineup. Marshall Mathers, Marilyn Manson, Diddy. It is a crazy link up, all right? It is actually a crazy link up. So even the Epstein subreddit, all right, nobody thinks this is serious. I mean, Eminem's pretty serious. Marilyn Manson, I can see he's known to be a weirdo. It's the first time I've ever heard of Eminem being accused of anything like this. I don't want to downplay I don't want to downplay the victim, but I also want to make sure that it's true and not report fake stuff. I don't think it's true, honestly. I don't think it's true, but now he's in the files. You can't say he's not in the files. Whether or not it's true, they put him in the files. Quite a few people think Eminem's on the Epstein. Now, this is 6 months ago. People have been saying this for quite some time. I'm not saying I believe it, but it has been going around. And I wanted to show you a couple of little things from Reddit where this is 6 months ago. And they're saying quite a few people think Eminem is on the list. And basically people are in the comments saying, yeah, Eminem sexualizes minors. 2000 Eminem would. People said Slim Shady on the list. Eminem sang about R-wording and kids and killing his own mother. Oh, sorry, R-wording his own mother and killing her. They're saying, nope, he's a part of it. He's actually part of the list. Most of the people who suddenly said he's on the list are idiot Republicans who got mad at him for suddenly becoming politically charged and anti-Trump. All right, it says exactly they moved the goalpost when you mentioned the fact that Trump was close friends with Epstein for years. Those people are what we call mentally challenged. They're saying, nope, he's not part of it. It says, duh, he's admitted to it. Him and Seth Green were hanging off of the left wing of his jet. Right, it's that lyric from back in the day. But yeah, this is just going around absolutely everywhere, okay? Wild email. She's not accusing Eminem of anything, just Manson and Diddy. That's what I got from it. Marshall Mathers wasn't there with Epstein, at least not that I saw. It seems someone was trying to get this underage girl to have sex with Eminem, possibly to blackmail him. And then she suddenly switches over to talking about Marilyn Manson being at her aunt's house, seemingly having nothing to do with Epstein. Her father knew about Manson abusing her. She talks about her father in a way that makes me wonder if he's some kind of famous person. Maybe I'm reaching. But it seems like he had connections to Marilyn Manson and Diddy, though. Okay, so this is 7 months ago, interestingly enough. So Eminem is not on the Epstein list after all. White House announced there is no Epstein list, but Shady said he was on Epstein's left wing. Something's not lining up for legal reasons. I'm just playing Epstein. You know I love you. All right, so look, the Eminem fans, Eminem and his crazy personality, he's cultivated a pretty crazy and hilarious fan base. But at the end of the day, I think we're going to see more crazy stuff coming out. I don't think he was freaking off with Epstein. Let's be real. I don't think that was happening. But I do think there's probably were some rappers. I mean, the Jay-Z one, I don't think that's substantiated, but at the same time, I do feel like there's a lot of unanswered questions about, you know, some of the women that Jay-Z was allegedly involved in early days of his career. But we've yet to see anything substantial. Okay, so look, I just want to come out here, update you guys. I'm seeing Eminem on the Epstein list all over my Reddit feed. It's left, right, and center. It's Eminem and Eminem. Blah, blah, blah. So is what it is. I've read you the whole thing. You can make up your own minds. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I don't think Eminem was freaking off like that, but I don't know. This story gets crazier every day. But look, I'll keep you guys updated. If another left-wing rapper pops up, we might be seeing J. Cole in the list in a minute. We might be who else is like an activist rapper that hates on Trump? You might be seeing Tyler the Creator in the list in a minute. You know what I mean? Like the way Trump's be putting people on the hit list. If you said anything bad, Snoop Dogg definitely about to pop out on the Epstein list if this is anything to go by. But I'll keep you guys updated. Thank you for watching this update, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. I'm out, gang. Peace.